One story I tell in the book is that my father, in 1947, was still working for Dr. Weinberg, who hired him as an eyeglass maker when my father was in high school. He's a senior at Long Branch High School. And in 1947, when I was about 7 years old, and my sister was 2, my mother, I think, was pregnant by then, Weinberg fired my father. And he said, it's nothing personal, Milford. I'm going to be running for mayor, and it would be good for me to hire an Italian veteran. So he hired an Italian veteran, and Junior Scavone was not a bad guy, and my father survived that, partly because he could get a bank loan to open his own optical shop, and the guy at the bank, whose father used to own the bank, John Smock, had played sports with my father. My father had been voted best-looking boy in his class at Long Branch High School, so they knew one another from way back. And all those stories, getting the job from high school, getting fired, getting the loan, those stories are part of what's behind the title Jersey Breaks. My street, Rockwell Avenue, which was multi-family houses with probably mostly Italians. There were also some rooming houses with guys who were painters and laborers, pizza cooks, but it was all white. And across Rockwell Avenue, from where I lived, was Monmouth Avenue, which was almost entirely black. There were 1 or 2 families of Jewish junk dealers on that street. And at the far end of Monmouth Avenue, Monmouth Avenue, at the far end of Monmouth was the Tally Ho Tavern, where in the legend, probably a true legend, a customer had once bitten off the finger of a policeman. At our end of Monmouth Avenue, across the street from us, was the house and office of Dr. Julius McKelvey, the black doctor in town. I can remember getting glimpses of him in his 3-piece suit. And Dr. McKelvey was active in those early years of the NAACP, and among one of the things he attempted, and in his lifetime failed, was to integrate what he was trying to integrate, the Atlantic Ocean. Of Long Branch's 15 or 20 beaches, just one was one where African-American people could go into the Atlantic Ocean. I was, for the poet and memoirist Phil Schultz runs these writer's studio sessions. I was doing one of those by Zoom recently, and I noticed this woman whose name was Kristen Alessi. And I registered Alessi, that's a Long Branch name, and the family who lived upstairs from us on Rockwell Avenue. The upstairs apartment was Margaret and Woody Alessi. And their son, Alex Alessi, was a year or 2 older than me, so I worshiped him. He was the big kid that if he would deign to play with me, it was very good. And Kristen Alessi eventually asked a question, and she was Alex Alessi's daughter. And her mother was Janet Lucia, who I remember is a wonderful piano player at Long Branch High School. And I could remember Woody Alessi being very protective and sympathetic when our landlord, Mr. Mincer, he really by accident made a nasty anti-Semitic remark that made me cry when I was 5 or 6 years old. And Woody was very angry at Mincer and very protective of us. And Kristen Alessi on the computer screen, she and I both wet up. We both started to cry a little bit in front of these hundreds of people. And she said, she used a Yiddish word, maybe she's married to a Jew, maybe she just picked it up, it would be like Long Branch. She said, my father and mother, these are people I hadn't seen since I was, or spoken to, since I was 17 or 18 years old. I'm a bit older than that now. She said, my parents quelled for all your success, Robert.